What is reprogramming? In this video, I'm going to talk about this, and in the end, I'm going to teach you a very simple and effective technique that you can start using today. But before starting, let me introduce myself. My name is Tucano Noni and I am a mindset coach and a professional counselor. I'm a teacher of personal growth, self-hypnosis, meditation and alchemy. I am also part of Damanur, which is a huge center of research in spirituality and social life, awarded from an agency of the United Nations as a model of a sustainable society. What is reprogramming? To explain this concept to you, I want you to imagine yourself as an iceberg. So you have the tip, which is the part of yourself that you are aware of, and then you have a submerged part, which is the biggest one, is the 97% of you, which is your unconscious. In this submerged part are all the memories of your life and, for who believes it, also of your past lives. So these memories make you think in a certain way, feel in a certain way, and act in a certain way. So we can say that you have been creating a way to respond to life due to all these memories and their interpretation. If you are not able to be aware of these interpretations and to change them, you will not be able to change your way of thinking, perceiving, and acting. And so here we are talking about programs. There are some programs inside of us. It's like a path in your mind. A certain stimulation brings to a certain response, and it's always the same. So this is a program. We can say that we have empowering programs, which are the ones that give us power upon ourselves and our life. And there are others which are depoentiating, which means that they take the power away from us, making us feel weak and powerless. Let's make an example. Let's say that you want a certain job. So you are going to have an interview with the person that will decide if you are the right person for that job. So you know that you have all the possible skills and you are really the right person for that job, right? But let's go back in time. When you was 5, the director of your school was a woman and she had certain characteristics. She was a very strong person and you saw her in a certain way. One day she arrived in your classroom and you just broke some material that was very important for the school. So she scolded you in front of all the other kids. So what you felt was fear and you felt ashamed of yourself. Okay, so let's go back here and now. Today, you are going to your interview. You want your new job. You have all the skills. You feel really that you can make it. Okay, you arrive there and the person you find is a woman who is very sure and is very similar to that director. And she has a role as the director of your school had. So for you, for your brain, they are similar. You go back because your memory about that event when you was 5 is triggered. So you're not anymore here and now at your age, but you are that child of 5. So you feel ashamed and you feel full of fear. And with your non-verbal communication and your verbal communication, you will communicate this. So that woman that is in front of you will perceive you as a person which is not trustable. So you will not succeed in that intention that you have, that is to start working in that place, okay? So this is how programs work inside of us. They are triggered and then they activate a certain memory, a certain way of feeling, a certain emotion, a certain way of thinking of ourselves, of others and reality, and so they activate a certain way of behaving and communicating that can be a big obstacle for us and in our achieving what we want. So we want to replace depoentiating programs with empowering programs, with new positive programs. And how can we do it? Okay, so to explain to you all the techniques and how they work, I need to introduce you to this concept. We create our programs, so these paths in our brain, in our system, in our mind in two ways. First, by repetition. Second, by emotion. So also to create a new program, you need to use repetition and emotion. The more you repeat a certain behavior, the more this path in your mind will become deep. We have a lot of habits. It's very easy for us to repeat what we have already repeated. This means that, for instance, if your parents, when you was a child, were giving to you cakes and candies all the time that you was upset or sad, when now you feel uncomfortable, you look for sweets, even though you know it's completely wrong and is bad for your health and so on. So repetition. I have to say that sometimes we create our own programs. So maybe you discovered at a certain point in your life that if you eat something sweet, then you start producing endorphins, and so you feel better, and so you have done it once, twice, and so on, and so you created this program. It's not always that we have to blame our parents for everything that happens in our life. Anyways, another way to create a strong program is to create a strong emotion. The case of the director of the school is this kind of situation in which you felt something so strongly that this path was created in one time, okay? Just because the emotion was so strong. So one way to create a very strong new path in your brain is to repeat something and to nourish that new experience, that new message with a strong emotion, a positive emotion. And I'm gonna explain to you how to do that, how many techniques you have at your disposal to do that. But before, let me invite you to hit that button there and to subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this. And if you don't want to miss my new videos, then hit also the bell so you will be notified when new videos are available for you. Okay, so let's go for the techniques. We have different kinds of techniques that we can use. There are some techniques that need an operator, someone else to help us. The queen is the hypnosis, which is my favorite one and that I use all the time with my clients and on myself. Hypnosis is a way of relaxing the mind and entering a state in which the brain waves are slow, and they are very similar to the brain waves that you experience when you meditate or when you dream. So this kind of brain waves help us to have access to a deeper part of ourselves, the submerged part of the iceberg, and to find memories, messages, and also to change them if necessary, and to insert new ones, positive ones. So the idea that hypnosis make you become unaware is completely wrong, because instead when you do hypnosis connected to well-being, you need to be aware. It's better if you are aware, you talk with the operator, and if something breaks the trust that you have, then you immediately step out of the state that you reached. So hypnosis is based on trust, relaxation, and well-being, and that is what you experience when you use this technique. Another technique is the EMDR, which works especially on traumas, and it is very effective, and it utilizes also the movement of the eyes to move different parts of the brain, and so to be able to process the emotions. Another technique which is very interesting is NLP, which utilizes verbal and not verbal communication in order to reframe the person's programs. But there are also some techniques that utilize the body. The body is a very important tool because by focusing on our body, we immediately slow down, and so our brain waves immediately get into the alpha or even deeper state. So that state that I said is similar to the meditation or dream state. So it is very useful to start working from the body. And so there are several techniques that help you to release memories and emotion starting from the body, because the body also holds all the memories of your life. So it's very useful to ask the body when you don't know what is going on. Your body can tell you the answer. So one technique, for instance, is the Jinshindo acupressure, which is a technique that I have been using for years, in which you use the acupressure points to relax the body and to get into this meditation state. And then from there you start using hypnosis to process everything that comes up. There are a bunch of techniques that utilize breath, the eyes, the body to really release memories, emotions, and to reorganize your programs. There are also some techniques that utilize the representation of past and also future situations in order to do a mental and emotional reframing. And these are, for instance, the dramatization, but also the family constellation. So this is also something in which you need someone outside of you. But there are some techniques that you can utilize by your own. So the first that I want to mention is self-hypnosis. Self-hypnosis is very similar to hypnosis. It's the same thing, but you are the operator. You are the one working on and with yourself. And it's very, very powerful and very, very effective. I teach it in my courses in personal development because I find it very interesting. You can really reprogram yourself with that, but you have to learn it. There are also other techniques like EFT or tapping, which is a technique in which you tap on some acupressure points to assess some memories and emotional memories to do the work. And then there is this technique that I want to teach you today, which is the positive affirmations technique. It is very simple, but at the same time is very powerful. So I teach it in all my courses. I teach several of these techniques in my courses, but this is the one that I can teach you in this video because it is available for everyone, it's easy for everyone, and everyone can use it. So what a positive affirmation is a statement, okay? Is a sentence which is short, very clear and positive. It doesn't say anything about the problem, but just about the solution. So you will find here in the description of this video a PDF with 3 positive affirmations which are quite strong and powerful and that you can use for yourself. You can imagine a positive affirmation as a seed that you plant inside of yourself and that eventually will sprout and then will become a new part of yourself, an alive part of you. How you can make this seed sprout? You have to water it. And how you do it? By repeating it. Remember? Repetition. So you repeat the positive affirmation when your critical mind is distracted. So all over the day, when you're doing something else, just repeat these affirmations. So it goes inside your subconscious directly because your mind is distracted doing something else. Or you can use the positive affirmation when you're falling asleep in that intermediate state between being awake and being in the dreams. So same thing when you wake up. When you are in this middle state, you can tell yourself what you want to achieve and you use your positive affirmation for that. But the best way to use it is in self-hypnosis or in a state of meditation. So for that, you find in the description again another tool, which is a guided meditation. It's free and you can download it. So this would give to your affirmation not just the water, but also the fertilizer. Or you can use any other technique of meditation that you use normally. And after that, when you are in this very relaxed state of mind, you tell yourself your affirmation. This really is the best way to use the affirmations. But you can use all these methods during the day. And I recommend you do it at least for 2 weeks or more because you have to create a new path in your mind that will be stronger than the previous ones. And so in order to do that, you also want to use words that recall positive emotions, strong positive emotions in you. So for instance, if you find affirmations on the internet, you will find some of them also on my Instagram and Facebook pages, or maybe you download these 3 affirmations from the link below. Anyways, you can change some words. Maybe you use the structure, but you use the words that are more powerful for you, because again, we want to use repetition but also emotion. Okay, so this is the technique. I want to mention this. Sometimes this technique is not enough, because there are some programs that are so normal for us that we cannot perceive them anymore. We perceive them as a normal part of ourselves, and we're not aware of them. So an operator outside of us, a therapist, can help us seeing them, create with us a new path in our mind, the antidote, let's say. So if you see that after 2 weeks or maybe a month that you use a positive affirmation, this is not so effective, probably there's something huge that you are fighting against, and probably you're not able to do it by your own, so you need help. So in this case, I recommend you find someone that can help you and that can provide you with the tools that you need to find which is the program that you have to change, and then to change it. So if you want, you find in the description below and on my website tukanonori.com a link